Hey guys, so recording this video for a quick introduction into the current management layer and how we see it being built up. There's lots of work that has to be done, but one of the crucial things and concepts to quickly propagate throughout our organization is the concept of routing, which will lead to better organization and management of tasks down the road. So there are two modes of routing that we observed in a prototype in 2020 during the CoronaWhy.org experience, where we had a large group of volunteers helping out with COVID research. And we basically created two modes. The first one is called active mode. I'm going to share my screen real quick. There is a video that if you have time, hour and a half, you can watch to quickly get up to speed to all the chaotic nature of decentralized organizations, but it's not necessary. For now, I'm just going to describe the concept of routing. And here you see the active mode, meaning someone introduces themselves, hey, I'm this and that. And then we immediately jump in and we pick them up because we know there is a need for a specific person for a specific task. And it's proven to be working. The only limitation is the time constraint. It's a very time consuming thing. So the best way to do this is only for the top to bottom type of operations where you need people that will lead certain initiatives. Sometimes it's useful for bottom to top, but very rarely, because bottom to top, you have too many tasks and it's almost impossible to route people until we have 100 people that are just staying in introductions and just waiting to pick up people and route them to specific tasks. The limitation in this active mode is the requirement, an absolute requirement, to have the tasks in some form of Kanban system, because you see the person with skill set, you have to match it by the skill set of the task, and that task has to be described somewhere, at least in a very basic form. We're yet to build out the task matching system and the skill set matching system. In CoronaWhy, we were fortunate to have more time to do these things. And in a matter of 2-3 weeks, we built scrapers that scrape LinkedIn profiles of people that joined. And we automatically pulled all the tags and skills. And we were able to quickly filter, like if we need someone experienced in Amazon AWS, we quickly filter and we reach out to those people. So that type of scouting, that type of matching is yet to be configured in our organization. We're not there yet, but just wait for it. Please be patient. The second mode of operation that we're also working on is called passive mode. And it's basically giving the map of the community in general and guiding them through it. So there is an important concept here. Basically, we assume that the map describes the most efficient way to route person, and they understand where it's best for them to get routed. That's a very strong assumption in our current environment, because there's so much happening and so much structure needs to be built up as soon as possible. So again, we're figuring it out. One crucial difference between just a flow chart of the organization and this routing of the passive mode is the fact that the flow chart should also list out who to talk to in regards to specific department. Because when you have 2,000 members in Slack, you're just not able to find who's responsible for which department. So we're also working on this passive mode graph. It's not there yet, but we have basic org chart that is being structured, and hopefully on the backbone of this we'll be able to do this passive routing. As of right now, it's very very large, hard to understand, but there are also two things to capture here. Again, the learnings from the CoronaWhy experience made it clear to us that there are horizontal teams, and let me pause a video for real quick. There are horizontal teams, you can think of it like this, and they service vertical teams. So horizontal teams are teams like marketing, cybersecurity, HR, funding, meaning that they all cross populate the vertical teams. And as of right now, as organization, we're focusing on only one vertical, which is evacuation of kids and people in need from unsafe regions. And basically, we're prototyping that. We're taking that as a sandbox environment to build the whole infrastructure and processes, and then replicate to other vertical teams. But as of right now, we have the vertical team of Evac, evacuation, and we have horizontal teams that are servicing it. The marketing, funding, cybersecurity, HR. These horizontal teams are basically more self-organized, and the leaders are shaping up to lead each of those. We're yet to connect these horizontal ones with a vertical one, because the vertical one is also being structured as we speak. So this chart is the best that we have in terms of the lay of the ground of these horizontal teams: PR, cybersecurity, technical support, funds, marketing. And then we have the Evac team, which has different subgroups: evacuation requests, where people manage the incoming requests; transportation, the actual dispatch of drivers and matching; the safety and intelligence type of operation, where we are mapping safe routes for the passage; the housing, transit points, and border monitor and understanding where people can cross safely. So that's basically it in terms of a very, very condensed description of what we have as a management layer, so to say. What I think will be super helpful, and especially for you, Evgeny, is to start shaping up the infrastructure of Trello Kanban for both the one vertical team and the horizontal teams. In reality, that's going to be, again, a very experimental setup. So don't be afraid to make mistakes. Just, do something and assume it's right until someone jumps in and tells you that something has to be changed. That's the only way to make progress in such a light speed moving environment. As of right now, we have the basic Trello. I'm going to be sharing access to it, workspace. And there is only Evac team Trello board. So what is needed to be done is first to start reviving this board, because I've created it, and then people got too overwhelmed actually structuring processes in the Evac team and haven't had time to spend here. So basically, this is definitely a task. Obviously, it's just doing done and resources. I've created 3 labels, priorities, and the basic Kanban of assigning member, priority, and the due date. Hopefully it works. If not, we'll figure out other structure. The other things that we'll need is Trello board for each horizontal team, and starting to fill it in. I know that there is some Kanban happening in Notion, and that may be a duplicate effort. So I would recommend to observe, see if someone's really using Notion Kanban. If yes, do not touch those teams. Let them run within Notion, not to disrupt their operations. Use Trello to help those that have no structure at all. Like marketing team, I assume they have none of the structure and need something. Funding team, same thing. PR, same team. So as much as you can do to create structure and communicate that it's accessible and guide people through it, that's the top priority. I think that's it. Please ask questions, because I loaded a lot of info.
Yeah, okay. In general, it's okay. One question is, do you have a list for team leads each line? So I can ask.
Kinda. Also being set up in progress, but we have a private channel with core team members that are leading teams. at least these higher level teams, top to bottom communication. But then we'll probably have to iterate and add people and communicate to them how to add people to Trello too.
Yeah, yeah. And you probably need two graphs, first for organization structure and second for people structure. Or you want to merge it?
Please explain the second one.
People structure when you describe it. So someone lead all.
Oh yeah. So
yeah.
ideally, and again, we're under cyber attacks constantly, so we're dealing with sensitive information, and
Okay.
ideally we have the version of this org chart that is public, that is anonymized, and then we have a private one that is only shared across team leads. But the public one should have coordinators names, which is not team leaders, but people that act as a gatekeeper for these team leads. So basically, when someone needs something, they know that they have to go to someone to get access to them.
Okay, yeah, I agree. So what I want to do first is create one template with best practice maybe for one team and share. If everything will correct, I will just duplicate it and provide access to each team. And then maybe modify for each team for their needs.
Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe marketing team would be the easiest lift because of and I'm mentioning this horizontal team because they're quite flat, meaning there is no deep structure
history. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let me contact them. That's all.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. Thanks, man.